He was firing, and I got under a winch on the deck because who knows where those bullets are going to land. And he comes down, and this plane, Jap cuts out. He was trying to get away from the 38. He cuts across, and we had a Liberty ship had a 5-inch gun on the fantail on the last hull, and I was in the 4th deck place, and the fantail had a 5-incher. They fired at him, but he was so low, the shell went through the guy's wing, and he just went right behind the ship behind him and into the drink. So that was the action I got. I said, well, that was pretty close.
Close as you wanted to get.
Yeah, but that's kind of stuff that happened. Of course, I was on some ships when we had a lot of attacks on the ships, and there's a lot of ack in the sky, but fortunately we didn't get hit. Now, and the next move in the Philippines was from Leyte to Mindoro. And we went south of Leyte, the ships, there was 25 ship convoy, and we went around the end of Leyte, and we cut over and got into the China Sea and started up, and the Japanese had sent 25 planes for 25 ships because they were going to stop us, and they were all kamikazes. So the one that hit our ship hit just the deck, and the wing clipped the ship, and he had metal and oil all over the deck. But that was the most, I guess, closest I came to really having a big problem, because the ship behind us, the one being on the side of us, and the one in front of us, they were all hit dead center, and they were burning, and a lot of people in the water. It was really chaos for a while there. Yeah.
So that battle, call it that, was a kamikaze?
Yeah, that was a kamikaze. They sent those people out to stop at the convoy because they were trying to stop us, the Japs were.
And how many ships were hit out of the 25?
Well, I don't know how many. I know 4 of them because I could see them burning, but how many I didn't have a count on those. But I'm sure they hit some more ships because they were really interested in wiping us out.
Sure.
And then after we got to Leyte, it was on Christmas Eve, they came over, they bombed us, it was just over Christmas, so while a PA was playing White Christmas and Bing Crosby was singing, we were getting bombed with phosphorus bombs, and all these phosphorus things hitting, and you couldn't put them out anyway, but smother them with dirt. You couldn't put them out with air, because if in the air they just keep burning. So that was a little interesting too.
Where was this at?
In Mindoro.
Mindoro.
Yeah,
okay,
before we went up the coast and set up the radar. We just got there when this happened. Yeah.
This was Christmas of '44.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It was Christmas of '44.
How about Christmas of '44? What? You mentioned a little bit about it.
Well, that's about all I can tell you.
As the most memorable.
It was just another day.
Okay. Okay. Were you concerned ever of your being a radar installation, being targeted? As
sure. If they'd have found us. Now, once we got up to Mindoro, up in the mountains, set up, we were north of the city, I guess 10 or 15 miles on the mountain, and we used to track planes going into San Pedro, which was where we came from. The Japs come in there and attack that. We could track them, but they didn't know we were there because we were in a coconut grove and a kind of camouflage. If they did, I'm sure they would have come after us. Yeah.
But your tar was pretty conspicuous, I would think.
Well, it was green. It was camouflage, and it kind of blended in. So.
How tall?
It was 50 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you talk a little bit about the camaraderie, your crewmates and your...
Oh yeah, the camaraderie was great. I made a lot of friends and knew a lot of people over there, and lost track of now, but Chris Wyatt, who was a lieutenant, I guess just about 5 years ago, I started looking for him up, trying to find him, and if he was still alive, and the Covington Library helped me do that. I didn't have a computer then, but they did, and they found him in a phone book in Geneva, Illinois, and so I got in touch with him, and so we communicated with a computer, email.
Sure.
In fact, I think I still got an email that his daughter sent me when he died. So yeah, we had a lot. And then we went to after the war. Mary and I we got married, but we went to Clemson University, and the Carsons were down there. Randy Carson and his wife, but we lost track of them since then. The years have gone by too fast, and you're getting different things, and things just. I like to maintain contact, but we didn't. But we had a lot of good friends in there. So.
Supporting each other, I'm sure, during the
whatever
it took, whatever.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
What was life like? I mean, as far as your living conditions, food,
I think
every day.
You try to make it as good as you can, depending on where you are. But we mostly living in tents over there, most of the time, and it was all right because I liked it, preferred it because I liked the hot weather and I could handle that. Probably couldn't have handled Europe. All that cold weather.
Especially December.
But we lived in we lived in tents, and we even made a prefab the floor to go in a tent, and then later when we came back from Mindor, I came back after the war moved on north, and went back to WWII, and it was real good over there. We had a lot of things. We had. We prefabbed the floor to put in the tent, and in fact, Lieutenant Wyatt and I shared a tent at that time, and I think everybody tried to get by as well as they could, and some people really did well. Some of the guys went to the quartermaster corps, and they'd come out with a lot of things like ice cream mix and things like that. But that was only when the war had passed us by. You know, we were. That's when you were trying to live like a person again.
What did you do for recreation during those?
We played ball, and we played volleyball, and all sorts of things. And one of the guys that was an ambulance driver for the 79th Station Hospital in Dulag Lady. By the way, I had hepatitis when I was over there, and I was in the hospital, and I ran into Bobby Hartloff, and he's a fella that's from around here. Now, whether he's still living or not, I don't know. But he had an outrigger canoe, and when he shipped out, he had to go. They shipped that out someplace. He gave me his outrigger, so I enjoyed that. Me and one of the other fellows used to go out and paddle around the ships.
Where was this?
On Leyte, after I came back. Yeah, that's after the war moved up. You know, we weren't fighting then. We were waiting to go to Japan. Is what we were doing, to tell you the truth.
So when the Americans came back onto the Philippines, invaded the Philippines in '44.
Yeah.
They invaded, and then you set your.
Well, they invaded, and then right after that we came to Leyte ourselves on a Liberty ship, and that's why I described about this dogfight, and but we didn't disembark for a long time. It seemed like it must have been almost a month on that ship until they could get everything squared away on the islands, because that was really a big effort over there at that time. It took them a while. Yeah.
And then you set your radar installation up.
Yeah. Well, we did that after we moved over to WWII. Yeah.
Okay.
That's when we did that. Yeah. Now WWII was across the island from where we went into Leyte. We went around Dulag. That was south of Tacloban, which was the main city there. Now over on Dulag, there's a mountain that you had to go across, and the roads were bad, but we had to go across there, and we did. And that's where we set up. We moved over. That's where they ordered us to go, so that's where we went. So, yeah.
It kind of sounds like you were following the invasion.
Oh yeah.
From the Philippines.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we were right there, and yes, we were doing that. Following up other major operations.
Right.
In fact, when we were in Leyte, that's when the Japanese decided they were going to get rid of the Americans on the Philippines. They didn't want the Americans there, and they set up a pincer movement of their navy. They came down from the north, and then they came through the islands from both north and west and the south. And they had a pincer movement. They were going to cut off Leyte and the supply line, and I'm sure if they had been successful, I probably wouldn't be here, because they would have annihilated everybody in the Leyte Gulf. And I was on that Liberty ship then, so that was a pretty tough time, and that's when a lot of it was major engagement at that time. Destroyers and all the battleships were over there fighting, and the aircraft carriers. It was a major engagement.
Yes. After the Philippines, you went.
Well, that's where I came home after
Okay.
that, because the war ended.
Gotcha.
We were set to go, we were getting ready to go to Japan, because that's where I thought they were going to invade, till we dropped the atomic bombs, and then they surrendered, so we got in line to come home.
What was that like, the time between thinking you were going to Japan? Were you
Well,
anxious?
there wasn't any, no, there wasn't any, I didn't think there was any problem. We were just accepted it. We had to do what you have to do, so. But after that, when the war ended, then it got a little antsy, because everybody was anxious to get out and get back home, but
Yeah.
you couldn't find a ship to get on, so you had to sit there. But we did, that was what happened, and it was pretty nice. So, all in all, I didn't find the war that objectionable. It was dangerous at times, but we had a lot of good friends, and a lot of people was in the same boat, and everybody was working together.
When they dropped the bomb, where were you then?
Well, I was in the Philippines,
Okay.
but I didn't hear about it for a couple of days. But then we heard about it, and when they hit Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
What were your thoughts
I
then?
thought, boy, maybe that we will get to go home.
Yeah, so that was
Yeah. So I got home early, just a little before Christmas, in *45. I got to San Francisco. So.
a lot of celebration.
Oh yeah.
during the,
Well, when I came in, you know, that a lot of that was over, I guess. Of course, the guys on the ship were all celebrating. They wanted to get home too, you know.
Yeah.
But everybody took it in stride. It wasn't anything outrageous or anything.
What did you do between the end of the war and December? Was it just kind of a
Well, it
Just
was
wait.
just, yes. We moved back over on the other side of Leyte, and was just sort of waiting to get shipped back home, get a ship home.
you didn't do any more radar?
No,
work
we
then?
no.
Radar work was
Everything
all-
got closed down
Yeah.
after that. We didn't do any more of
I
that.
mean,
So.
for then, so.
Yeah.
So you're just basically waiting to get
Just
processed
waiting,
out.
just staging it, trying to get right in a line to get a ship to get back. Yeah, all happy that the war had ended.
You got back to, you said San Francisco, is that where you landed?
Yeah, we landed in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah,
When was that?
it was Christmas, about Christmas Eve before,
Okay.
not 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that.
Okay. And from San Francisco, you went back here to Kentucky?
Yeah,
Back to
took a
Kentucky.
train and back
Train.
to Fort Knox and got discharged, and
Okay.
then came home.
So discharged in 46, I take it then?
Well, yeah, it was in January
January
46.
46,
Yeah.
okay. And then what happened? You were home and
Well, I'm trying to remember what happened. We got married in October of '46, and I started college. I went to UC, and I went to Clemson, South Carolina. But I don't know what we did in between. I can't remember. Forget some of this stuff, Tom. Too long ago.
I heard you were in the Music Bowl this year. Clemson and Kentucky played in the football game.
I
this
know,
year.
I know, I know.
Great game.
Yeah, I know.
So did you get a degree from Clemson?
No.
You just,
No,
okay.
I was just down there for a while. And we
Yeah.
had our first child when we were down there. so.
Okay. And then you came back, when did you come back to Northern Kentucky?
I guess we came back, I think it was the summer of, I'm trying to remember the date. I guess it was the summer of '46, sometime
Okay.
there, yeah.
And got a job and,
Yeah, I went to
Just
work
moved on.
for Crosley at Avco over there.
oh, okay.
And I worked there for a long time.
In the electronics field,
Yeah,
obviously.
well, yes,
Okay.
I worked in, that's what I've been, I was an engineer over there for a
Okay.
long time.
Okay.
Worked on television, and then I worked on government contracts, and we had some big radar programs over there,
Okay.
and after that.
So the training was definitely
Oh,
beneficial
definitely
to you.
good,
got
definitely
you,
good, yeah, I really like that, still do, yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned you have been talking about your keeping contact with some of your,
Yeah, well, I haven't been, I guess I'm out of touch with most everybody now, because I was so busy when I was working. I used to, had a big group, and I was a manager, and it was just so many things going on, I kind of lost track of everybody. You know how life is, you get
Yeah,
involved in
sure
things, you
is.
just have to keep going. I
Re-
did do a lot of traveling though. We traveled all over the country and worked at different companies, Lockheed, and yeah, went for all west, and then we went to England and worked for Marconi, and so you know we had a good life. In fact, I took
Yeah.
Mary and I went to England, and then we came back and went to San Francisco, back out to the West Coast. down to Sunnyvale and in L.A. and down in San Diego. We were all up and down the coast. So we did a lot of things. We had a good life, really. Really happy with it.
You ever go to any reunions? Do they have reunions?
Yeah, well, they used to have, and they still have some meetings, but I haven't been to one lately. We kind of aren't able to do that. But we have the group of the engineers that formed a group out of, it used to be AVCO now. Somebody brought that out. See, that's all changed like every other company.
Yeah.
They sell out to a group of other owners that like to get into the thing. And so things change. But we do have a group that I still belong to. And it has most of the guys that worked there for a long time. And we see each other or talk to each other once in a while.
Have we heard all your experiences? What are your thoughts on war?
Oh, I don't know. Let me think about that. I don't think war is very good, but I think it's terrible what we have going on right now. But I think what we're doing is the best thing we can do at the moment with Iraq, but that's my thoughts on it. But, yeah. Okay. I sure wouldn't want my kids over there if I could help it. But
John or Ken, do you have any questions?
Yes, I wanted you to talk about the natives you mentioned that were in New Guinea that you saw.
Well, we had a lot of natives in New Guinea, and they are really primitive. They had bones in their nose, and they have fuzzy, wuzzy hair. We used to make jokes about them when they came into camp. They'd walk through there, but we'd see a lot of them, and we walked. If you take a hike, I used to hike out over there quite a bit, and through the woods or through the jungle. You come into a clearing. Here's a bunch of the natives sitting around chewing betel nut. Their teeth were all red because betel nut's a narcotic, see. And they were just like the Americans on drugs. I mean, this is crazy, but that's the way it was. But I knew people in there, and I knew them in Australia, and I knew them in the Philippines. So we knew a lot of. I got to know a lot of people over there. Yeah.
What did you eat at your bases? Was it K rations or?
Well, no. Let's see. Let me recall that just a minute. In Australia, we had mostly bully beef. They call it bully beef. It was corned beef, because Australia raised a lot of beef, and they were selling a lot of beef to the army. That's what we were getting to eat. And we got up to